So again, welcome to the College of Engineering here at Oregon State, at least from the virtual experience. And this is our agenda for the evening. So we're going to start off with some introductions, and then we're going to dive into our college tour. And we'll continue the discussion about life as a first-year student, mention some student resources, and then talk about some clubs and activities, and wrap it up with our Q&A session. So for introductions, I'll go ahead and start with myself. So my name is Carly. I am a senior studying civil engineering, and I'm also in the Honors College. And during my time at Oregon State, I've been involved in a variety of different activities, such as Phi Sigma Rho, the engineering sorority, the American Society of Civil Engineers Steel Bridge team. I'm also part of the Leadership Academy, and I participated in the MECOP or CCOP programs, as well as intramural sports. And I also work as a College of Engineering ambassador. So the ambassador program has four main focuses: outreach for prospective students and recruitment, as well as current student support and alumni relations. So we have a few of us with us this evening who's going to be helping lead this presentation. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to my fellow ambassador, Marissa, to introduce herself.
Hi everyone, my name is Marissa. I'm also a senior studying bioengineering with a minor in psychology. I'm involved in undergraduate research, club sports, and Greek life, and I'm going to pass it off to Sneha.
Hi everyone, I'm Sneha. I'm a senior in industrial engineering. My pronouns are she, her, hers. I'm the president of the Engineering Student Council, so we manage all 65 plus engineering student clubs on campus. I also am an intern at the Center for Diversity and Inclusion, and I've been involved with the cultural associations on campus, especially the Indian Student Association. I'll hand it off to Lauren.
Hi, I'm Lauren. My pronouns are she, her, hers, and I'm a junior studying chemical engineering here. I'm involved with the Engineering Student Council as well, and I'm the project manager for ChemiCar, and I also do work with the Society of Women Engineers. I'll pass it back to Carly.
All right, so now you had a chance to kind of get to know everyone who'll be helping out this evening. We're going to go ahead and get started with the tour. So again, welcome to the College of Engineering in Corvallis virtually. We're really glad that you guys could make it with us this evening. And throughout the evening, we're going to be going over our typical College of Engineering tour with some added additions to help you guys get a better understanding of what campus life is like at Oregon State, but also some other clubs and other ways to get involved. So to provide some context for you all about living in Corvallis and Oregon in general, we kind of want to give you a background about the state of Oregon. So Corvallis is located in West Oregon, where the orange star is located, kind of right in the middle of your screen. And Corvallis is conveniently located about 90 miles south of Portland. So most people have heard of Portland, a pretty big city. It does have the Portland International Airport. So we have the little airplane symbol here. Pretty nice for flying in and out of, especially for students out of state. But if you are looking for nearby airports as well, Eugene, so about an hour south of Corvallis, also has an airport. And then we're about 40 miles south of the capital, which is Salem. And Salem is a really great town to go check out. So highly encourage you to do that. And then Corvallis is pretty close to the coast as well. So Newport is only about 50 miles away. And Newport is also home to our Hatfield Marine Science Center, which is a groundbreaking research facility. So pretty neat to go check out. I would not recommend swimming in the Pacific as the water is pretty cold though. And then over in Bend, Oregon, so about 130 miles to our east and central Oregon, we have our Cascades campus. And we do offer a few of our engineering programs over in that facility, which we'll talk about later in the presentation. And then lastly, we have a variety of different research forests throughout the state that students are free to go check out whenever they would like. And then like I mentioned before, Corvallis is located in central Western Oregon, and there's a ton of activities to do indoors and outdoors. For those of you who are avid skiers, we have a variety of different ski resorts throughout the Cascade Range. We have Mount Hood, Timberline Lodge, and then going further south, we have Mount Bachelor, which is pretty close to Bend. We have the Oregon coast that's only about an hour away, and you can see the photo down at the bottom of your screen. Really beautiful to go and look at. And then we have a variety of different trails for mountain biking or hiking, whatever your interests are, there's a place for you to do that in Oregon. And so for Corvallis itself, Corvallis is a relatively small city. It has about 60,000 people in total, and it has numerous rankings. For example, Corvallis is ranked #1 for safest college town, according to ADT Security. And it's also ranked #2 for friendliest college town. So nice to have that as well. And then lastly, it's ranked #3 for top 100 places to live by livability. So really, Corvallis is the perfect college town. It's a great place for students to be able to hang out, get outdoors, and explore the city. For example, Corvallis has a farmer's market that runs through the spring all the way into the fall season. And it's really great to go down. It's right in the downtown area to go check out some local produce and just be able to meet some new people. And Corvallis is located right in the Willamette Valley. The Willamette River runs right through the middle of the city, so it's always cool to be able to go and check out the river as well. And one last thing I do want to mention about Corvallis is its bike friendliness. So the middle photo, you can see a gentleman with his bike, and Corvallis has a gold rating for bike safety, according to the League of American Bicyclists. So whether you're on campus, it's very easy to access your classes and so forth on bike. But if you live off of campus, the city itself has a lot of great amenities for bicyclists. And now this is a map of campus, and you can see it's pretty broad, but I do want to draw your attention to a couple of different regions. The first is going to be right over here in these orange buildings, and these are going to represent all of our engineering facilities. So they're mostly grouped between Campus Way, which is this road right here, as well as Monroe Street. But we do have a few outliers over here on the west end of campus, and these are going to be our Radiation Center, as well as our O.H. Hinsdale Wave Research Laboratory. We'll talk about these two facilities later on in the presentation. Now, the dark green buildings are going to be our recreational facilities, and these are going to be located on the south end of campus. We have our Recreation Center, and then we have our intramural fields located right across the street. They're all turf, really great for hanging out on the weekends. And then in the lighter green buildings right over here on the screen, we have our tutoring and academic support facilities, which we'll also talk about later in the presentation. And then the last place I want to draw your attention to are going to be the yellow areas, and those are representing some of our living learning communities, and that's what we're going to talk about next. So the ones I really want to draw your attention to are going to be Buxton, Hawley, and Cawthorn, and these are representing the College of Engineering Living Learning Community, and then we have Sackett and West Halls, and these are part of the Honors College Living Learning Community, with Marketplace West, or the West Dining Center, located conveniently right in between them. So with that, we're going to dive into our living learning community discussion. And so these are our resident halls, and students are able to live with other students that have the same academic focus or major. So it's really great for connecting with other engineering students and making new friends. For example, if you're going to walk to your 1 p.m. math class, chances are there's like 5 other people at least on your floor alone that's going to be making that walk with you. So really great way to meet new people. We also host a variety of different events in our living learning communities, such as faculty mixers, so to get to know your faculty members, panels, as well as workshops. And then all students have access to our makerspace in Buxton Hall, so it's another great facility to go check out. And I'll talk about that more in a few slides. So to really focus in on Buxton, Hawley, and Cawthorn, so those 3 main College of Engineering living learning communities. Now all of them have a ton of great amenities such as study lounges. They also have free laundry, so there's no need to have to save your quarters or anything like that. There's free Wi-Fi, and it's pretty great too, so never had any issues with that when I lived on campus. And then we have 4 different dining plans for students to choose from. So whether you want to eat all of your meals in the dining hall or just a couple, there's a dining plan that would be right for you. And what's really great about these facilities as well is the security. So there's 3 levels of security for the residence halls. The first is to be able to scan into the building, so you'd use your student ID card. And then you have to scan again in order to access your floor. So that would be either through the stairs or the elevator. And then you have a key to enter your room. So again, 3 great layers of security. And we have different floor plans and stuff for each of the rooms for 2, 3, and 4 person. And then we also have suite options. So there's a lot of different ones that will work depending on the student. And for selecting roommates, there's a couple of different routes students can take. If they already know somebody, they can definitely go ahead and live with them their first year. Or if they want to kind of meet someone new, kind of see who they can get, we do have our roommate profile system. It's basically like a dating website. And so that's what I did myself when I lived on campus my first year. I had a really positive experience out of it. I basically just fill out this questionnaire. I was like, do you stay up late? Are you messy? And the key thing with this is to be honest. So maybe have like a friend or a parent, go ahead and check that out before you submit it to make sure you're really telling the truth, as that'll make things a lot better once you do move in with your roommate. So I had a really positive experience out of it. I'd never met my roommate before, and we became great friends. So I do want to talk about our makerspace, since a lot of students are always interested about this. And it's located in the lounge in Buxton Hall, and it has 24/7 access for all students. So basically, it's a great facility for students to be able to use 3D printers, t-shirt screen printing machines, sticker makers, laser cutters, all kinds of great equipment is located in the makerspace. And students do need to be trained on it, but it's pretty easy to do so, and then they're free to roam the castle. And we are partnered with the College of Business for this. So you'll see the College of Business's logo in the background. So we'll have students in there as well also using the facility. And I do want to mention the Honors College Living Learning Community. And so those again are going to be Sackett and West Halls. And this is where I lived my freshman year, since I'm also in the Honors College. I wanted to kind of be able to expand and meet new people outside of engineering. So my roommate was an English major. I thought it was a really great balance to have kind of my math and science focused brain living with someone with that little bit more creative side, and it worked out really well for us. And one great amenity with the Honors College Living Learning communities are going to be the tutoring and the academic advising. So the tutors and the academic advisors do go to the resident halls, and they have drop-in hours for students to come whenever they need help. And a really great feature about Sackett Hall is it's located right across from the Learning Innovation Center, or LINC, which is the home of the Honors College. So where a lot of your classes are going to be, it's right across the street, pretty convenient for getting to class in the morning. And in general, the living learning communities are a really great way to connect with other students and to build relationships with faculty members as well as advisors. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Marissa to continue our tour.
Awesome. Thank you, Carly. I'm going to steal the screen really fast. So before we get started on the next section of the tour, I do want to remind you guys that the little Q&A that's at the bottom of the screen, you can use that to ask questions during the presentation. And we do have an ambassador manning that this whole time so they can answer any questions that you have. So now we're going to go into the next section of the presentation where we talk about the resources and academics of the College of Engineering. So first we're going to do a brief overview. So the College of Engineering has 9,000 students and 1,300 of those are grad students. So we do have a lot of students on campus and they span the 15 different College of Engineering majors that we have. And the College of Engineering has also moved to a progression model. So basically what that means is you have two options as a first-year student. You can come in as a specific engineering major, or you can be in general engineering. And general engineering is a major only for first-year students, and it allows you a generalized approach to the College of Engineering. So you can learn about all 15 different majors that we have and work closely with your first-year advisors to figure out where you want to go with your career and which specific engineering major you want to go into. So we do highly recommend doing that. And then at the end of your first year, you will go into a specific engineering discipline, but you can still change your major after that first year. We do also maintain high standards for our students, so we can prepare them for grad school or industry after Oregon State. So this means that we have a 2.5 GPA requirement, and you do have to complete 2/3 of the classes that you attempt each term. And if you don't make this for a term or two, that's okay. You will work closely with your advisors in the Office of Student Services to get you back on track and assess where you are in the College of Engineering. And then on the map here, I do want to point out a few buildings. So like Carly said before, these orange buildings are the College of Engineering buildings. And if we were in person and live and on campus right now, we would be starting this tour at Johnson Hall, which is just above the center of your screen. So Johnson Hall is home to the Office of Student Services and also the School of Chemical, Bio, and Environmental Engineering. So we're going to talk about those few majors first. So the School of Chemical, Bio, and Environmental Engineering has a really strong emphasis on getting involved early. And one of the programs in the school is the Johnson Internship Program. And this is offered to 30 first-year students, and it gives them a research internship with faculty at either Oregon State, Oregon Health and Science University, Portland State, or the University of Oregon. So this gives you research opportunities right from the get-go. And then as for the specific majors, so bioengineering, like I said before, is my major. And we focus on the development of devices and processes to improve human health. And that can be anything from drug development to bioprocess design, tissue engineering, anything like that. In my major, actually, we have two types of capstone projects. So the first one is a device design. So my group actually did a chewing gum that could test your blood alcohol content. And then the second half of the year, you work on a bioprocess design. So for that project, I'm currently working on a bioprocess design for a vaccine, going from the development of the vaccine and the cultivation all the way through the downstream processing and distribution. So then for chemical engineering, they really look at going from raw materials to finished products. And that can be anything from creating chemical processes for microelectronics, working with fuel cells or biofuels, creating biodegradable plastics and polymers, or designing chemical production facilities and oil refineries. The next major we have is environmental engineering. So they promote sustainable development throughout society. And a few ways they do that is by designing water supplies and wastewater treatment facilities, managing hazardous waste, and controlling air pollution. And then another major I do want to mention is ecological engineering. And they are not in the School of Chemical, Bio, and Environmental Engineering, but they are closely related as a science-based engineering major. So they actually integrate human activity with the natural environment in order to benefit both. So they do more of restoring ecosystems, designing wetlands and marshlands, and working with things like aquaponic systems and bioremediation. So sort of the differences between these two majors is environmental engineering is more chemistry and lab-based, and ecological engineering, you're more out in the field. So then Johnson Hall is also mainly home to research labs. Almost the whole second and third floors are dedicated to research labs, and that includes both faculty research and then also research lab classes. Johnson Hall is also home to the Office of Student Services, which houses the first year advising office. You meet your first year advisors for the first time during START, which is our summer orientation program. Usually it's on campus, but this year it will be online. And then after that START session, you then meet with your advisors once a term. And you can contact them more often and meet with them more often if you need to, but you are required to meet with them once a term. And then once you declare a specific major, you move into a major specific advisor. So you'll get a new advisor after your first year. And then this is just a list of some things that advisors help with. They can help you with selecting courses, acclimating to college life. They can help connect you with student resources if you're struggling. And they also really encourage you to get involved with clubs, organizations, and research. They know a lot of people on campus and they have a lot of connections. So if you have any questions about that, your advisor is definitely a great person to go through. So next is the Johnson Hall atrium and second floor, which is home to even more resources. The first one is the Career Development Center. So this is staffed by trained students and staff, and they help with everything from resumes to interviews, job search questions, and they have drop-in hours every single day. This is a really great way to get ahead right before a career fair or learn even in your earlier years the way that you could go with your career and how to get a head start on that. And then on our second floor is the Center for Diversity and Inclusion. And they are empowering traditionally underrepresented students in engineering through clubs and programs. And they support all underrepresented students in engineering. So that includes women, students of color, first-generation students, and the LGBTQ+ community. And they host social events, industry events for companies who are specifically wanting to hire underrepresented students. And they can also connect you with K-12 outreach opportunities. And this is a list of the supported student organizations for the Center for Diversity and Inclusion. So we have ACMW, which is for Women in Computer Science, NSBE, the National Society of Black Engineers, OSTEM, which is Out in STEM for the LGBTQ+ community, SACNAS, which is the Society for the Advancement of Chicanos, Hispanics, and Native Americans in Science, SHIP, which is the Society of Hispanic Professional Engineers, and SWE, which is the Society of Women Engineers. Also, you do not need to identify with these groups in order to join them. All underrepresented groups do need allies in order to get where we want to go. And then right on the other side of the second floor hallway is the Leadership Center and Academy. Any student can join the Leadership Academy, and this is here really to help develop your professional and leadership skills that you're not getting in your technical classes. So this gives you access to industry tours. They do one up to Seattle every single year where they tour like Amazon and Microsoft and Boeing, and they're starting to do one down to the Bay Area as well. And they also have a whole bunch of professional development workshops, and they can connect you with any professional mentors. I'm a part of the Leadership Academy, and it's been a really great way to meet people, network, that sort of thing. And also, one more thing to mention is that the Center for Diversity and Inclusion and the Leadership Academy both have study spaces in their offices, and that's just a really great way to do homework. So then some of the academic support on campus. We have academic support both in the College of Engineering and also campus-wide, and I'll be talking about both of those. But to go back to this map one more time, I do want to point out again that the tutoring and academic support is located very close to all the engineering buildings on campus, so that gives us really great access to those resources. So the first tutoring I want to talk about is the engineering specific tutoring, and this is based in Johnson Hall. And all of these tutors are also undergraduate students or graduate students who have taken these classes and have succeeded in them. And this includes things like chemistry, computer science, and electrical engineering, all the general engineering courses, math, mechanical engineering, and physics. The courses offered do vary term to term based on the employees that they have in the tutoring office, but this is just the baseline classes that they offer tutoring for. And all of these tutoring resources are also free to students in the College of Engineering. We also have supplemental instruction tables, which are called SI tables, and they're only for the really large classes on campus. So for example, I did a supplemental instruction table for anatomy and physiology, and they're about 1 hour a week outside of class, and they're peer-led study groups with students who did really well in the courses in the past years. And they're really, really helpful. They basically review everything you went over in lecture in more detail to make sure you're fully understanding everything. And then Waldo Hall is home to the Academic Success Center. So they have a whole bunch of academic coaching resources, office hours, and study groups. And then the Valley Library, I guarantee you'll be spending lots of long nights here. I know I have. They are home to the Mole Hole, which is for chemistry help, and that's sponsored by the College of Science. And also the Writing Center, which I know is useful for a lot of engineering students. They help you brainstorm and edit all those papers. And they also really want to help English language learners as well, writing those tricky essays. And then we also have Kidder Hall, which has the Mathematics and Statistics Learning Center, and then Winiger Hall, which has the Wormhole for physics help and the Volhole for biology help. And those are both College of Science resources as well, but they're available to everyone on campus. So now I'm going to pass it off to Sneha.
Thank you, Marissa. I'm going to share my screen. And while I share my screen, I would just like to remind you all to utilize the Q&A button and ask us any questions you might have about anything we're talking about or anything else that you're wondering. So yeah, let's go ahead and get started. So what you're looking at right now is the Kelly Engineering Center. Kelly Engineering Center is home to our electrical, computer engineering, and computer science departments. Kelly was the first engineering building in the nation on any college campus to achieve LEED Gold certification. That basically means that Kelly is a very eco-friendly building. And the way that we do this is that Kelly collects rainwater that falls on and around it, stores it in a basin underneath the building, and uses it to flush the toilets in the building. Kelly is also a smart building, so if a professor opens their window in their office or something like that, the air conditioning and heating systems automatically turn off so that any energy is not being wasted cooling or heating the outdoors. So a little bit more about the majors that are offered in the EECS department. Electrical and computer engineers basically design the hardware aspect of any devices, including alternative energy systems, pacemakers, and wireless devices. Computer scientists, on the other hand, develop the software and user interfaces of the devices, such as apps for your phone, the software used with medical imaging, as well as artificial intelligence. There is a lot of collaboration between these two majors, and students regularly dual major or will add a computer science minor to their electrical and computer engineering major. And hands-on learning is really big here. So it starts in your first year when you jump into programming as a computer science student or building miniature computers using microcontrollers as an electrical and computer engineering student. These hands-on experiences only build on each other as you progress throughout the program and prepare for a year-long senior class. And we'll talk a little bit more about that later. Kelly also has computer labs. So we actually have a computer lab in every College of Engineering building except for one, which is Johnson Hall. And these computers are available to all engineering students for most hours of the day. The main computer lab that we have is in Kelly, and it's open from 6 a.m. to 2 a.m. every day. We really do recommend that you sleep for the other 4 hours. And our computers run Mac, Windows, and Linux operating systems. They also include all of the engineering software and Microsoft Office and anything like that that you will need. You can also remotely access these computers from your laptop and any required software as well from your laptop, which is, by the way, recommended that all students have laptops. That way you can do your assignments from anywhere at any time. Also, with our engineering tuition, we all get 1,000 free pages for printing every term. So a little bit about our robotics and our rovers. So OSU, like I mentioned a little earlier, is home to over 65 plus engineering clubs, which we'll also talk about a little bit more in the presentation. One of these clubs is the OSU robotics team, which is where students from all different majors can come together to work on a Mars rover. You don't need any prior experience to join any of our clubs. Most of the time, the upperclassmen in the club will teach you anything you need to know. In the International Mars Rover competition sponsored by NASA, our Mars Rover team designs, builds, and programs a rover from scratch that competes in a series of tasks in a Mars-like environment in the Utah desert. Our team has placed top 3 of the competition for the 4 of the last 5 years that the competition has existed. So that's really exciting. The Engineering Expo is an annual event where engineering students showcase their research and senior design projects. While senior design projects are required for most engineering majors, there is generally a large variety of opportunities for research as an undergraduate student. And the senior design is basically a project that we all do in our senior year. And you work with a client either on the OSU campus, or sometimes these clients are even companies from around the area. And you solve a problem for them using whatever you have learned in the last few years. So it's actually a really fun project. I just finished my capstone recently, and it's very rewarding. We actually have a virtual showcase instead of the Engineering Expo this year on June 5th, and it is open to the public. So if you want to check it out, I highly recommend looking that up. This is Rogers Hall, also home to mechanical, industrial, and manufacturing engineering. I have spent a lot of time in this building. So basically a little bit about what these majors are. Mechanical engineers design, develop, and improve devices, materials, and products. A bachelor's degree in mechanical engineering can lead to work in almost any type of industry. At Oregon State, our areas of focus include design, aerospace, mechanics, material science, robotics, and thermal fluid sciences. Industrial engineers, which is my major, are focused on optimizing systems and processes to be more efficient, cost-effective, safe, and user-friendly. The industrial engineering degree is one of the most flexible engineering degrees offered by the College of Engineering, and that's not just me being biased. This flexibility allows you to tailor your program of study to meet your individual career goals. There are different options, including a business option within industrial engineering that allows students to get a minor in business without having to take any additional credit hours. Manufacturing engineers design the operation for how things are made in mass or in a large scale. The TV show, How It's Made, if you've seen it, is a really good example of what manufacturing engineers do. They figure out how to mass produce the products in an efficient manner. And because the manufacturing engineering program is closely aligned with our industrial engineering program, as well as the mechanical engineering program, many of our students will pursue dual majors in these areas. We also actually have 3 minors in this area that I would love to share. The first one is the aerospace engineering minor, which is only available for mechanical engineering students. We have alumni who work at every major aerospace company in the country, including SpaceX, Boeing, Blue Origin, Raytheon, as well as NASA. Another major that we have is called humanitarian engineering, and actually any OSU student can add this minor to their degree. This minor implements projects that benefit people and improve lives. We look at design from a more humanitarian aspect and social justice perspective in this minor. And the third minor in this department is material science, which is an interdisciplinary field focused on the design and discovery of new materials such as metal alloys or ceramics, as well as understanding the properties and performance of existing materials. So let's talk a little bit more about robotics. OSU is home to the #4 robotics program in the country. Our many faculty collaborate on robotics research that extends to other universities throughout the country. There are many areas of ongoing research within robotics, including Intelligent Machines and Materials Lab, which studies the design and control of robotics for agriculture. Soft Robotics Lab, which studies the use of silicone materials in robotics. The Collaborative Human and Robotics Lab, which studies the robot and human interactions, as well as Human Machine Teaming Lab, which deals with artificial intelligence, coordination of satellites, and alleviating traffic problems. But those are just a few of the tons of labs that we have. We also have a bipedal robot named Cassie, who you can kind of see in the picture right here. Cassie is a bipedal robot developed here at Oregon State and commercialized by one of our spin-off companies called Agility Robotics. Cassie now has a successor named Digit, which adds a torso, arms, and guidance systems. Agility Robotics has actually recently partnered with Ford to look at deploying Digit robots from autonomous vehicles to deliver packages, which is super relevant. And these are two more student groups I'll share a little bit more about. So AIAA, or the American Institute of Astronautics and Aeronautics, is a chapter that we have here at Oregon State. And it's a student-run interdisciplinary club made for any and all students that are interested in aeronautics and astronautics. There are a number of projects that this group works on, and one of the most exciting new projects that they're working on right now is called HALE, and stands for High Altitude Liquid Engine. It's a pretty big deal because we are the first collegiate team, or sorry, not we are, but the first collegiate team to complete this challenge will win $1 million through the Base 11 challenge. Other competitions that our club is involved in include the Design Build Fly competition, as well as a hybrid rocket team. Just this last year, our rocketry team won an international rocketing competition. The team on the bottom here is the Society of Automotive Engineers, or SAE formula. And this is basically a road car designed for a motocross course. The team consists of students from OSU, as well as students from DHBW Ravensburg in Germany. This is actually the only existing global collaboration of SAE teams. And they compete here in the US and in Europe against tons of teams from around the globe. As of this fall, they're actually building and racing 2 electric cars, of which one will be autonomous and driverless. The electric car can accelerate 0 to 60 in under 3 seconds, and the cars can also pull over 2G, which is 2 times the power of gravity when cornering. They're also extremely lightweight, weighing between 300 and 400 pounds, and we've been national champions many, many times, beating schools like MIT, Harvard, Stanford, and Caltech. So a little bit about internships and co-ops. So internships aren't required to graduate, but they are highly encouraged, and a lot of students do pursue them here. The Career Development Center and schools share opportunities through Handshake, which is kind of like a LinkedIn for college campuses. That's where companies will come directly and post job opportunities as well as career events. And a little bit about MECOP and CCOP. So MECOP and CCOP are 2 internship cooperative programs offered by OSU. This is a partnership between us and 100-odd companies near the Pacific Northwest. Basically, students apply for the program at the end of their sophomore year. If they're accepted into the program, they're guaranteed 2 6-month internships at 2 different engineering companies. Oftentimes, these engineering companies are also very different from one another. So like one could be smaller and one could be larger, just so you get a very unique experience across the board. On average, our students make about $20,000 on each of their engineering internships. And since the internships are 6 months long, students do have to take 1 term off from school to complete each internship. So this is another reason why a student might take longer than 4 years to graduate. This is Kearney Hall, and Kearney Hall is the home to our civil and construction engineering school. So when Kearney was actually remodeled in the mid-2000s, the exterior of the building was left intact, but the insides were completely remodeled. And students wanted Kearney to be a building that they could not only learn in, but also learn from. So a lot of the design aspects of the building were left exposed, including steel beams, piping, water systems, light systems, and anything like that, as well as you can look in the elevator shafts. And oftentimes professors will send students on scavenger hunts to study the building itself, which is really cool. A little bit about the majors that we offer here. So architectural engineering is one of our newer majors, And basically in this major, you learn to apply engineering principles and technology to building design and construction. You work with architects and civil engineers on building design teams. So it's a little blend of both sides. Civil engineers basically plan, design, and construct infrastructure, including highways, bridges, buildings, water supply systems, and wastewater treatment plants. Construction engineering management students will be planning and supervising all types of construction, homes, commercial, industrial buildings, highways, bridges, airports, and dams. And you will get a little bit more of that business aspect and management aspect in that major. So this is Owen Hall, also home to civil and construction engineering. So our School of Civil and Construction Engineering is actually a prominent leader in safety, resilience, and infrastructure renewal, with over $7.8 million in research expenditures. In Oregon, you might all have heard about this, a magnitude 9 earthquake and tsunami from the Cascadia subduction zone is one of the most pressing natural coastal hazards. So researchers are currently finding solutions that will improve critical infrastructure performance so that it can withstand major earthquake and tsunami events. Some of the student clubs related to these majors are concrete canoe and steel bridge competitions. So concrete canoe is an OSU chapter of the American Society of Civil Engineers, and they compete in the concrete canoe competition every year, where they have to build a canoe completely out of concrete that floats. The first thing that they do is they submerge the canoe underwater, and it has to float back up out of the water, and then they race it down the river. Then we have steel bridge team. So the steel bridge team designs a 1:20 scale model of a bridge and competes against other Pacific Northwest universities in the areas of lightness, stiffness, construction speed, economy, and aesthetics. The bridge is fabricated and welded at OSU and then constructed in a timed competition at the conference. And in the competition, the bridge has to support up to 2,500 pounds. This is the O.H. Hinsdale Wave Research Laboratory. So Oregon State is home to one of the 2 largest wave research labs in the world. The other one is in Japan. And researchers use computer and real life evacuation simulations to help coastal communities prepare for a possible tsunami. They do a lot of other research here as well, based on coastal engineering and things like that. Awesome. So this is our radiation center. It is home to the School of Nuclear Science and Engineering. Well, I guess that's not the radiation center, it's just the radiator. But we do have a small scale nuclear reactor on our campus that is very safe and only used for research. Students in both nuclear science in engineering and radiation health physics get to work with the reactor as part of their curriculum. For example, one project that they do is irradiate aluminum foil and measure the decay time as it turns into silicon. A little bit about the majors in this area. Firstly, nuclear engineers study how to make nuclear energy a safer and more efficient form of alternative energy, and often go work for the government as specialists in this area. The curriculum includes research and training under our nuclear reactor, as I mentioned. Radiation health physics and physicists study how radiation affects humans and their surroundings. Some of the research that they do goes into protecting humans from radiation and exploring how we can use radiation to treat diseases like cancer. Pre-medicine or pre-medical option in radiation health physics allows you to complete a lot of the entrance requirements for most medical schools as well. And I also will share a little bit about OSU Cascade. So this is our campus over in Bend, and it's growing a lot. Right now we have about 3,000 to 5,000 students to meet the state's education goals. As OSU Cascades is expanding, it has the capacity to transform students' lives, including first-generation college students, underserved populations, and adults seeking career advancement. With half of the unemployment rate of individuals with only a high school diploma and nearly twice the earning potential, Central Oregonians with a bachelor's degree have the opportunity to contribute to our region and the greater world through this campus. We also have 3 engineering majors through the OSU Cascades campus. The first one is computer science, which the Corvallis curriculum and the Cascades curriculum is essentially the same. We also have energy systems engineering, which basically energy engineering managers oversee complex energy conversion and distribution systems. They work to improve energy storage systems and manage energy efficiency in building, manufacturing, and processing systems. And then this is our newest major, outdoor products. And a Bachelor of Science in Outdoor Products will prepare you for a career in the outdoor industry. Leaders in the industry are looking to hire more innovators who champion responsible systems approaches to product commercialization with respect for a natural world. In this interdisciplinary degree, you'll study the full life cycle of a product with courses that span from concept creation and design to commercialization to end of life. From resource management to outdoor leadership and sustainability, the program's course of study emphasizes environmental stewardship and corporate responsibility. So I'm going to hand it back over to Carly.
All right, so we've been talking a lot about our academic resources and our different majors. So now we're going to talk about some extracurricular opportunities. So one way to get involved is by attending the club fair, which is also known as Cookies and Clubs. And this happens every year in the fall, part of our Welcome Week celebration, so welcoming new students to campus. And it's a great way to get to know about all of our different clubs and organizations. So all of our 65 plus College of Engineering clubs are present at the club fair. And so you can see here in this photo, there's officers there talking with students who just got to campus, whether they're first year students or transfer students. Everyone is highly encouraged to attend. It's a great way to get on emailed listservs and find out more information about each of the clubs individually. And you get free cookies, so a great reason to go. This year, we're looking to host the club fair still, but it'll just be done in an online version. Another great event that students can check out is Engineers Week. And this is held each February, and it's hosted by the Engineering Student Council. And like mentioned before, the Engineering Student Council is really the governing body for engineering clubs and organizations. And it's a great way for students to connect across the College of Engineering and to celebrate engineering as a whole. And they have a variety of different events held every night. For example, they have Pecha Kucha, Diversity Dialogues, and Engineers Rock the Plaza. What's really neat about Engineers Rock the Plaza is they have local bands come and perform, and oftentimes they are students within the College of Engineering themselves. Another cool event that OSU University as a whole puts on is After Dark, and it's sponsored by the Recreational Center, and it has recreational events, free food and prizes. You can see the students are there in the gym. It is a dry event, and these are typically held on Friday and Saturday nights, so they're a really great alternative for students who are looking to have a good time on a weekend, and these are always free to students. And some other ways to get involved include our recreational centers. So we have our Dixon Rec Center, and it's basically a gym that has weightlifting equipment as well as multiple basketball courts, swimming pools, racquetball, squash, tennis courts, like you name it, they have it. It's a really great facility. We also have 2 rock climbing centers. So one is in the Dixon Rec Center and the other one is at the McAlexander Fieldhouse. So 2 really great facilities to check out. And we also have a variety of club sports as well as intramural sport teams. So if you're looking to relive the glory days, there are teams for you to join that are more competitive, or if you're just wanting to learn a sport for the first time, there's other options for you as well. I've played a variety of different sports. I always like to play softball as I played that growing up, and it's always nice to be able to get back out there on the field. And if you're not into sports, we do have other options for students. We have our craft center, so it has a variety of different crafts. We have ceramics, fine arts, that sort of a thing, glass making. So really neat to check out. I actually just went there a few months ago and it was pretty neat. I learned how to needle felt and I've been kind of taking that up as my quarantine hobby ever since then. And besides that, there's other ways to get involved too with our Student Experience Center. So that's kind of the basis for a lot of the organizations on campus, like our Associated Student Body, as well as our Craft Center, including our Orange Media Network, so like our school newspaper and radio station. And we also have our Center for Sorority and Fraternity Life is based out of that facility as well. And then other ways to get involved kind of outside of campus. So Oregon has a lot of different great amenities to take advantage of. This photo is located at the Smith Rock State Park, which is near Bend, Oregon, and it's a world-renowned rock climbing place. So you can see it's really beautiful, and there are a lot of day trips that students can go on, a part of our rec center. So rock climbing is one example. I know one of my friends went snow camping, and he basically built an igloo, and he camped out in it for a weekend with a group of students from Oregon State. He had a blast. He said it was a little cold, but unique opportunities like that, students have the opportunity to take advantage of. And some other great resources for students to take advantage of would be our different research forests. So a great place to go for students to go on hikes and that sort of a thing. Or if you're interested in studying abroad, it's totally feasible with engineering. Oftentimes students are going to do this within their first couple of years. while they're a student at Oregon State, while they're still taking kind of their core classes. But if you really want to go study abroad, like your junior or senior year, or even take some engineering classes in another language, there are opportunities for students to do so. We would highly encourage you to check out our OSU Go office, which is our study abroad office. So overall, the College of Engineering at Oregon State University has a ton of great resources for students to take advantage of and to be able to cater their experience towards what their wishes and goals are. So if you're thinking about a career in engineering, we highly encourage you to give Oregon State some thought. And with that, that's going to conclude our virtual tour. So we thank you all so much for listening and attending. And we will have our Q&A session following this. So be sure to stick around if you have some more questions or you want to hear what other people have to ask. And I do have a couple of reminders. So first of all, if you think of questions later on and you're not really sure who to contact, please use our coe.ambassadors, so ambassadors with an S, at oregonstate.edu email address. It is monitored by ambassadors every day, and they'll get back to you and be able to help answer your questions. And another great opportunity we have are our ambassador office hours. And these take place every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 3 to 5 p.m. And so it's on Zoom, pretty casual. You can log on and there'll be a panel of ambassadors like you have today there to help answer your questions. And on Wednesdays, we do have academic advisors joining us. So if you have some questions about courses transferring or anything along those lines, Wednesday would be a great day to go and check that out and be able to talk with an academic advisor. And again, this presentation will be recorded and posted on our website. So if you missed anything, you can go back through and be able to catch up on that. And then with that, I'm going to turn it over to Lauren for our Q&A session.
Hello, everybody. Our first question is a multi-part question. So how do minors work? Can you choose any minor that you want? And what are the minors in engineering? I'm going to send this one Marissa's way because she has had a minor.
Yeah, so I have a minor in psychology and I'm majoring in bioengineering. So not really that related at all. You can have a minor in basically anything you want. I knew someone in the year ahead of me who majored in bioengineering and minored in history. I have my minor purely because I really liked psychology when I took it in high school, and I was just really interested in that. And then the minors within engineering, so the minors that are only minors include humanitarian engineering, aerospace engineering, and material science. But we do have a few minors in some of our larger disciplines, such as computer science as well. And I'm going to send it back to Lauren for our next question.
Great, thank you. We have our next question about robotics. How does it work for undergrads? Is it a minor? And how do you get engaged? For undergrads, since there is no undergraduate degree program in robotics, but we do have the #4 graduate degree program, there are lots of opportunities to get involved in research, and there are programs specifically geared towards getting first and second year students involved in research, regardless of your major. And then there's also the OSU Robotics Club that you can get involved in, and I do have that link in the chat for you. And so there are lots of ways to get involved right off the bat as an undergraduate. Our next question is, what computers do you recommend to engineering students? Are there specific softwares that you need? You can check out all of the computer requirements online, and all the softwares are provided to you for free. Does anyone have anything to add for that question? Okay, great.
I can say something really quick on that.
Sure.
Basically, computers come down to preference. So if you know you're a Mac person and you really enjoy it, then get a Mac. If you're a PC person, then get a PC. There's not like one's better than another. It basically comes down to what you're used to and what's going to work best for you.
Yeah, as long as you meet all those requirements, then it kind of comes down to personal preference. Our next question is, can you explain what bioengineering is and how it's different from biomedical engineering? Biomedical engineering is not offered at OSU, but we do have a bioengineering person with us, so I'll toss this one to Marissa.
Yeah, so basically our bioengineering program sort of stemmed out of chemical engineering. So it's really bioprocess engineering focused. So that's things more like tissue engineering or creating new pharmaceuticals, that sort of thing. That's not to say that you can't get involved in biomedical engineering. That's what I'm interested in doing, and that's what I'm going to have an internship in after I graduate. But I would say it kind of depends on which part of biomedical engineering you're interested in. If you're more interested in the biology of it, I would definitely go with bioengineering. If you're more interested in the design aspect, then maybe mechanical engineering is good for you. And then if you're more interested in like the robotics and electronics side of things, then I would say electrical and computer engineering is the way to go. And all of those majors, again, you can add minors to that to get a biology background. So there's like a minor in human physiology. I would definitely recommend doing that if you go into the non-bioengineering route. But any of those degree programs would allow you to go into biomedical engineering.
Thanks, Marissa. Our next question is about what kind of sports you can play and if there are teams and clubs. And you can look up all the OSU clubs and teams. There's something for most sports, and we have lots of intramural options out there. But I'll toss this one to Carly since she has experience with IM sports.
Yeah, so we have two options for students. One would be a club team. So those are going to be higher competition, where a lot of times the teams are going to actually compete against other schools. I know Marissa is on one of the club teams, so I can pass this off to her in a moment. But we have like ultimate frisbee and rugby and that sort of thing. But if you want more of like a low key, like you're just playing students at Oregon State, then intramural sports would be for you. And so typically you only have games like once a week. It's your scheduled times, like Tuesdays at 5, and you're always going to play at that time. It's just one term in length, so not quite the full 10 weeks, about 6 or so, depending on if you make it to like the playoffs. But they have a full range of sports that they offer, and you can check it out on our rec sports website. Those are kind of the two main differences between the two. Marissa, do you want to add anything about the club sport side of things?
Yeah, so like Carly mentioned, I'm on the Club Ultimate Frisbee team. And basically the way I would say, like comparing club sports to like D1 sports is like they're a JV or thirds team in high school. So they're a lot more low key, but you still practice about 6 hours a week. I have practiced 3 days a week for 2 hours. And then I have about 3 to 4 tournaments a term. So it is still a pretty large time commitment. You have to be able to go out of state sometimes over weekends for different tournaments. And you do compete against other schools, but if you're interested in being in athletics, it's definitely a great way to get involved. And I'll pass it back to Lauren.
Thank you both. Our next question is about general engineering, and if you do it, does it add on another year, or can you still graduate in 4 years? And yes, you can still graduate in 4 years. It's actually recommended that you start with general engineering because it increases the odds that you will be able to graduate within just 4 years, because you have that whole first year to really figure out what all the majors are, and then the one that you decide on at the end of that first year is more likely to be a choice that you're satisfied with. So it's definitely recommended, and you can certainly graduate in a timely manner by choosing that option. Our next question is about graduation requirements for the Honors College. I recommend that you go to the Honors College website to see the specifics, because there are some curricular ones. My favorite part of being in the Honors College is the colloquia classes, and those are just some random 1 or 2 credit classes that are just different based on your passions. And then there's a thesis requirement as well, and that is probably the main part of being in the Honors College, but your thesis can be anything. So just because you're in the College of Engineering doesn't mean your thesis has to be based in engineering. You could write a book if you wanted to. Carly, do you have anything to add for that?
Yeah, so I can talk a little bit about the thesis component. I just defended my thesis a couple weeks ago and successfully passed, and it was a really great experience. It definitely is a great option if you're thinking about grad school, as you be kind of prepared by going into that mindset with having already completed a thesis, getting used to the defense and that sort of a thing. So I would really recommend it for students who are thinking about kind of moving on to either a master's or a PhD program. But what I really liked about the Honors College was just kind of having those colloquial classes that Lauren was talking about. It's nice to have a balance between like the math and science, especially your first couple of years when you're really taking like the physics and the chemistry, to be able to kind of have that creative side and more of those discussion-based classes.
Thanks, Carly. Our next question is about ecological engineering and how it works, and I'll pass this one off to Marissa.
Yeah, so ecological engineering is a part of the College of Engineering, but it's also a part of the College of Agricultural Sciences. So you're sort of half and half because it's so heavily science and environmental science based. So you get access to all of the resources with the College of Engineering, and then also the resources with the College of Agricultural Sciences.
Thanks, Marissa. And our last question of the night is, how do you obtain an internship outside of MECOP or CCOP? And we have lots of options here. There are career fairs going on every term, and we have a career development center, but I'll hand it off to Sneha since I know she's obtained a couple internships herself.
Yeah, so I actually got both of my internships outside of MECOP and CCOP at the career fair. They have tons of opportunities. Within engineering, we do networking nights during the career fair weeks. So companies that are attending the career fair will all come give you presentations, and you can get to know them on a more one-on-one basis, as well as the Center for Diversity and Inclusion and the Leadership Academy also does workshops or networking events with different companies that you can meet them there. So that's how I got both my internships. I preferred it because I didn't want to do 6-month internships, and really either of them are fine. It's just whichever one you want. We have tons of opportunities here on campus.
Thank you. And thank you all for all your wonderful questions. We're gonna wrap it up, so I'll pass it back to Carly.
All right. Well, again, thank you all so much for attending. We hope you really enjoyed the presentation. And like I mentioned before, if you want to go back and rewatch this, it will be posted to our website. And again, please attend our ambassador office hours. Again, they're Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 3 to 5 p.m. And then on Wednesdays, we will have some academic advisors there to help answer any questions as well. So again, thank you and have a great rest of your evening.